Bonjour, willkommen, howdy. Welcome to Workshop Wednesday. Is it Wednesday, Jez? Tuesday. Do you know, I never get it right. We'll just call it Tarsome Tuesday. Here in a nippy UK, nice and fresh in the morning, and we're doing some work on the AMX13 to get it ready for TANKFEST 2025. The steering on these uses two different sorts of band steering, some on the outside called laterals, two in the middle which are called differentials. The ones on the outside are dry, ones on the inside are wet, i.e. they're bathed in cooled oil. What we need to do is to adjust all of those so they're all working in sync, because at the moment there's a little bit more happening on the right hand side than the left. It means that you couldn't just jump in this and drive unless you've been in it a lot of times already and understood how it works. So we want to be able to share it around and let people have some fun in it. So we want to get those brakes absolutely bob on. So to do that, we have to have a look at the controls over the braking, which are down in here. So this video will be us working on these and balancing them out. On the outside is the lateral, on the inside is the differential, and again, we have the same over here on this side. To do all of that, we've got to lift this main cover, we've got to remove this so we can get to the back of these bands, because you adjust them on the front and the back to get them to brake evenly. Otherwise you'll find your brake harder moving forwards than you do backwards and vice versa, and we just don't want that. All needs to be balanced. First things first though, get this enormous gun out the way, because you can't lift any of this until that is removed or to one side. So let's get the forklift, go in, we'll get some straps around this and get that out. First thing is, find out where we're going to place it when we've taken it off, so we can put it down nice and gentle. So the central nut's completely inside of it.
It's fell out. Oh, it's inside. That's inside, guys. So that's
rocking horse poo, to get one actually in English. So we have the pictures on one side, which is great, and then obviously we have all the specifications and text on the other, but this is a direct translation from French, so the sentence structures are quite a challenge. It will say things like tighten bolt A. So you go and do that, and it says, but don't do that until you've tightened bolt B. So it's sort of written back to front, the sentence structure. So you've got to read the entire sentence before you start doing anything, which is probably good practice anyway. So here's the design of how the banding brake works. Here's the band on the inside. Here's the lever that actuates it. And you've got a balancer on the front and at the back, and that then pushes or pulls to make sure that this band is centralised and comes on evenly. Never great trying to understand these. Look at that there, adjusting screw of band push piece. Yeah, it's pretty a challenge to try and understand what they're actually on about. So what we've done is, here we have some spare parts. So these are inside, and these act on the brake bands. There's a little dowel that goes through that actually goes into brake bands, but basically these are inside, and then what you have is one of these, and this actually moves in and out, and that tightens them up. There is a combination of, this is a tightening screw, this whole assembly moves, then you've got a nut on the end, and this assembly here, here's one here, and you can see design floor number X, and that is, these just get water inside of them and they rust. Once they're rusted solid like this, so that means that there's no adjustment. So when you're putting the brakes on, you're actually doing it quite a disservice. Now we've worked a little bit on this, and we can see it is actually spring loaded, but look at the rust inside of there. And that's because they actually sit facing upwards at the front of the engine. So as soon as the rain comes down, it hits here, it runs down, it goes through the gap, and then it drops onto the tops of these. Now, French thought that through. They thought that's no good, that's going to rust if we allow it to do that. So they were very good, and they put caps, which I've now need to try and relocate where they've gone. Basically, we were here a minute ago. So there's actually caps that go over these rubber ones. I think it was steel ones and then covered in rubber. But what happens is, out in the field, you go to adjust these, take that off, drop it on the floor, it's gone. And so these end up exposed. So nearly all tanks that I've seen, these are exposed at some point and the water just gets in there and absolutely mullers it. Should be nice sort of soft movement like that, you see. This one's not bad condition actually. I think about using him, but this was off of a tank that was very much worse to wear. We actually cut the thing up in the end to try and get all these bits off of it. Okay, so onwards and upwards. We've got the front glassy plates removed. You can see the Detroit engine in all of its glory. This is the turbo over here, and this cladding to stop the heat affecting the engine because it is sort of jammed in there really tight. Reservoir that feeds up to the fan and that keeps it cool, expelling the air outwards. And we've just got the various dipsticks and filling. You actually see the Rockford torque converter down the bottom because this is an American engine. So as I said, Detroit diesel and the Rockford automatic gearbox auto. So great fun to drive. So upon investigation, let's have a look. What we've got is this plunger is actually seized in the housing. So I think that was more or less what I was saying at the beginning of the video, is they're not very well designed, so I think I've guessed it right. So here's the plunger, and that is sat or stuck. Push it out, in and out, in and out, and eventually we might have to disconnect it. There's a split pin in this end, take it out and clean it up on the wire wheel, some copper grease in there and put the thing back together. Make sure we put those caps over so this doesn't happen again. So I think most AMX owners are probably going to be coming up against this either now, in the future, or grappling with it at the moment, and that is your brakes locking on, or in this case actually locked off. Let's crack on. Here's the brake adjuster, very simple, hollow, there's a spring in there, put back in a minute. Inside of it, just about make out on the camera's actually some rust, so cleaner, this is wonderful stuff. I'll give it a quick clean and then we'll use one of these wonderful little wire brushes here and we'll pop that inside and clean out the inside. A bit of copper grease when we put the thing back together, and that is a little bit on the worse for wear. It got wet in there, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's corroded up. That's all. We're gonna have to get all that apart.
Yeah. There we are. And these are the rockers, isn't it? Well, not moving at all. So
we need to lift these.
We've been on it a few hours now. We've only done one of the brakes, one of the lateral brakes. It was absolutely seized solid. Don't know how it was working back in the day. This is the actual arm that operates the brakes. That's nice and freed off now. There's a rocker. This wasn't moving. This is the original. It's just rusted solid. So we've got a nice new rocker in there, and then we've got these little bearings on the end that turn nice and freely. So all of this is completely clean and like new. This is what came out of it and took absolutely ages. It was horrendous, and that's just taken hours. So now we need to go and clean out the bores that the pistons go inside of. Doing the brakes on a tank, what do you think would be the smallest tool that you would want to use? Yeah, it's come down to it. A Dremel, believe it or not. We need to use this sanding disc on the end, and that needs to go into the bores and clean it out to allow the pistons to go in and out and the brakes to operate correctly. So we're going to have to set to an entire 15-ton tank with a little Dremel. So these are the plungers that go inside the casing. You can probably see on this one there's a bit of corrosion at the bottom of it, which means it's just changed the shape very slightly, which is making it stick. So we've had to put another, oh god no, hang on, I'm picking out all the wrong ones now. And now here we go, and now that's been polished, lubricated, and that brake should now work properly. Goodness me. It's been a few hours, but we've got there, and we've got to do the back now, because there's two of them, one here and one over there, and then this brake we can tension.
You've got to lift that up there, get the clever started in there. Get some light on the top. Get that started in there. There we go. Oh, Yeah, no, cool.
Jez is down the front, putting the plungers back in on our right side lateral brake. So here we are late into the afternoon and we've only got one side done, so we've got the other side to do and then the 2 diffs as well. So it's going to be...
Oh, I can't wait.
He's loving it down there, but at least we know what we're doing now. Meanwhile, while Jez is up to that, we have to look after the batteries. So I've got a battery conditioner here and we've charged that in these AMXs. There's 4 batteries, 2 12 volts are over the bottom of the chassis over on that side, and I've got 2 over here. That makes the vehicle 24 volts, but has 2 banks of batteries. One is for the engine and the running, the other one's exclusively for the turret. So the turret batteries are what power the hydraulic pack, which then moves the gun around. So we need to have those batteries in tip-top condition if we're to move the turret. And the whole lot is charged by a single alternator, so it's worthwhile conditioning these batteries, a couple of trickle charges over a few days just to top them right up. So let's go down and see how things are going.
It's cold in there.
It's the only one place in the tank is on the end. Hold on. It's like being Marilyn Monroe, but I haven't got a dress.
I still get a little bit.
Can you taste it? Get a cup. How much is there?
It's not cold.
It's not. I hope that didn't got caught on the camera. So we've got a sticky residue in the bottom of the tank. So we sent George in to explore, and he's going to taste it and tell us if it's sweet or salty.